Hey, Nikki here with Beauty Shador with my latest pattern, which is ME2128 is my latest Know Me pattern. So it is a blazer with kind of like slouchy pants, kind of like a loose drop crotch in a sense. And then the jacket is just a longer, just a casual blazer. Unfortunately, this blazer is not lined, but it's a very quick make in terms of the blazer, in terms of the pants as well. It's a really quick make. The pockets are faux pockets. So when I do this particular tutorial, because this one is only going to be for the pants. So when I do the tutorial for the jacket, I'm also going to include instructions in terms of how to make real pockets, because of course that's what we want. We want real pockets. We want a real jacket, and also line it. So I am going to quickly go over what you'll need for this one, which is going to be the pants. So you're going to need your fabric. You're going to need a button. You are going to need a zipper, and I think that's it. So I'll just go over quickly. I mean, you can read this yourself, but the fabric, either broadcloth, cotton blend, linen blends, twill, so on and so forth. So I'm going to be making them in a linen, a black linen. And what I'm going to do, because the fit is traditionally supposed to be, like I said, like something a bit more slouchy. But what I'm going to do is make them just a bit more fitted. Um, so yes, so everything should be okay. Fingers crossed, because I didn't kind of like try this out beforehand, but it should be fine. So I'm going to make these a bit more fitted, but they're still going to be like loose fitting, because I'm thinking, of course, I'm thinking summer. I'm thinking summer. Yes, I know they're black, but I'm thinking like more wide leg summer. I don't want to do the drop. I am going to do one with like the more the pattern, like how it's designed to fit. But yeah, so I'm going to do these a little more fitted, because I have something brewing in my mind that I'm going to wear these with. So I want to be able to actually wear them. So anyway, in terms of the fabric, you're going to need probably anywhere from 2 to 3 yards. And this pattern goes from a size 8 to a size 26, from an 8 to a 26. And I really like it a lot. I love pants. I mean, as you know already, I love a pant. And the first time I made these, I really enjoyed making them. It's a really good fitting pant. Um, so yeah, so I think that's the only changes. Of course, I am tall, so I extended the length on these about 4 inches or so, possibly. And I also like my pants to fit long as is. So yeah, so make any adjustments that you need to make prior to getting started. And I will tell you, from beginning to end, um, once you get familiar with making this pattern, it will probably take you maybe 3 hours to make these pants. So it's a quick sew. Yeah. So I think that's about it. Yeah, so if you have any questions, comments, concerns, and these are my like Meta glasses. I've been recording with these today. So yes, I know I'm going to get that question. Do I wear glasses now? No, I don't. But I'm trying to get like different views of things that I sew. So yeah. So anyway, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. Happy sewing.
Okay, so we have all the pieces cut out. We have everything marked. So we're going to start with the two front pieces. So we're just going to put one of the front pieces to the side, and we're going to start with the right front piece. So this is going to be kind of like this. So say for instance, this is my body in here. We're starting with the right front. So you should have made sure you marked on the right front on the outer portion of the fabric, this marking right here. And this is on the right side. So you're going to do this marking here on the right side of the fabric. Let me grab. So what you want to do is for about an inch to maybe like a, I don't know, maybe a quarter of an inch. Let's just do an inch. So you want to stitch an inch right here going across. Let's see if you can see this. Let me darken it up a bit. So at the end of this marking, there's a little X there. So what you're going to do is you're going to stitch over this X in total about 1 inch. And you want to reinforce this stitch. Okay, so we have this stitched. I'm using black, which I probably shouldn't, but hopefully I can lighten this up a bit more so you can see it better. But here's the stitch here. So what you're going to do now is you're going to clip. So right here where this marking is, this X, clip, but make sure you don't clip into the stitch. Let me get another pair of scissors. So I clipped right here, right to the stitch, but not going through the actual stitch. Okay, now what you want to do is with right sides together. So remember we were working on the right side here. So we're going to take this right side to this right side. And we're going to go ahead and pin it. So once you pin it, you're then going to stitch from this marking here, you're going to go down 1.5 inches, making sure you reinforce this stitch. So we have this stitched together. Okay, now we're going to attach the fly facing. So we still have the front section here. We're going to grab the right fly facing. Make sure you have the inner facing on it. And you're going to match up these notches. So then you're going to stitch at this notch right here all the way up, making sure you reinforce right here. Okay, now what you want to do is you want to trim about 1/4 of an inch right here. And you want to trim just above this notch here. So you don't want to go anywhere below. So you don't want to do the end here. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and install the zipper. So we just stitched here and trimmed. Now you want to just kind of pop this over. And here's a seam right here. What you want to do is you want to place the zipper face down. And you want to have this down about 1 inch from the edge. And then just go ahead and stick a few pins in here. And you're going to be stitching this on this side here. So just keep that in mind when you place your pins. So the bottom of the zipper is going to be a bit longer, which is perfectly fine. In fact, you want it to be. And then go ahead and stitch all the way from the top all the way down using a zipper presser foot. Okay, so we have the zipper in. Let's go ahead and take the pins out. And then you want to go ahead and you want to turn this over. What I did, I flipped this to the inside. And then you want to go ahead and press. Just press this down and then pin it. And on this side, you want to fold this under 3/8 of an inch and then go ahead and press this. Okay, so we have both sides pressed. Now what you want to do is just go ahead and flip this over. So you want to open up your zipper. And then you want to take the zipper and you want to attach it right here on this fold line. And you want to do that right up against the zipper teeth here. Go ahead and pin this. And then you want to baste stitch this from here all the way down. Okay, so now that it's base stitched on here, what you want to do is just close the zipper and just make sure it sits nice and flat. Okay, so once you've established that the zipper is even, you want to then go ahead and grab the left fly. So put wrong sides together. And then go ahead and base stitch the raw edges all the way around. Okay, so we have this base stitch. Now what you want to do is open this up. You want to match the notch here with the notch here. And then pin it. Okay, then you want to go ahead and you want to stitch from the top here all the way down to the lower marking. So on the pattern piece, there's two different kind of like little circles. You're going to have one at the top and you're going to want to have one at the bottom. Make sure you stop at the one at the bottom, which is going to be here. So if you need to take your pattern piece and kind of lay it over and remark it, do that, but just make sure you stop here. So again, you're not stitching through everything yet. You're just going to stitch this part here. Okay, so now you want to go ahead and open up the zipper, and you already had this basted stitch here. Go ahead using the presser foot and just stitch right over this basted stitch using a regular stitch. Okay, so we have this stitched. Now what you want to do is kind of pull this back. And you want to pin this to make sure it doesn't shift. And then you have your marking here. You want to go ahead and you want to stitch. Once you get here, you want to be really careful depending on what type of zipper you have. I have a metal zipper, so I have to be extremely careful. I may even end up like just hand stitching this part here, but you want to going through both pieces of fabric using this marking as the guide and stitch this. Okay, so we have this pressed. Now we're going to go ahead and just set this to the side. So grab the back pieces and we're going to do the darts. Again, make sure you've marked that properly. So let's just go ahead and do both the darts on both sides. Okay, we're going to stitch these and we're going to do this on both sides of the back. Okay, so we have the darts stitched in and we have them pressed going toward the center. Now what we want to do is connect the front to the back. And we're going to do that by putting right sides together. And let's flip this over. Do this. And we're going to put together the inner leg. So with right sides together. Oh. So let's go ahead and pin this. Okay, so we're going to do this for both sides. Again, putting right sides together and pinning the inner leg. So once you do that, then go through the pin here and then stitch. Once you stitch it, press the seam allowance open. Okay, so we have the side, the inseams stitched and pressed. Now we're going to take the back. So this portion here is the back, and this is the zipper front. So this part here is currently open. We want to match up these seams. As well as the back. And then stitch. So you want to begin to stitch from the bottom of this 1-inch stitch that you put in the front. So stitch all the way down. Once you do that, go ahead and press the seam allowance open. Okay, so we have the back seam stitch and press. Now what you want to do is you want to take all 4 of the pocket pieces, and with right sides together, you want to match up the notches on the side, which will correspond with the top, and you want to pin these. So you want to do this again, right sides together, matching the notches. Okay, so once you have this pinned, what you want to do now is you want to stitch all the way down on each side, but making sure you do have your markings. So if you need to reinforce your markings, this is a good time to go ahead and do it. So on all 4 sides, stitch all the way down, reinforcing the ends on all 4 pieces. Okay, so we have the pockets stitched on. Now what we need to do is close them up. You can see here, and it's pressed. And I pressed them out toward the actual pocket. But don't worry about that because you're going to end up pressing it really well after the fact. All right, so go ahead and with right sides together. So we're going to match this up. Put this here. Okay, so here's the marking here. And the other markings here. So we're going to stitch from the top to the marking, reinforcing, and then reinforcing here, stitch down. You have to make sure you're leaving this middle section open, of course, because this is where you slide your hand in, and then you're going to stitch all the way around here, reinforcing here. So you're going to do that on both sides. Okay, so we have the pockets stitched up. Now what you want to do is you want to take the finished pocket and you want to fold this over, pin it to the front, and then baste stitch across the top. You want to do that for both sides. After you do that, you want to then open this up, and you want to make sure you press it really well just to get a nice crisp press right on this the pocket. You want to do that for both sides. Okay, so we have the pockets finished and pressed. Now what you want to do is just turn this inside out again. And you're going to stitch the side seams. Okay, so just finish stitching all the way down on both sides. And then once you do that, press your seam allowance open. Okay, so we have the side seam stitched and pressed. Now this would be the point that you would add the belt loops. I am not, which they call carriers, whatever, but I'm not going to add belt loops to these pants. So just follow the instructions. I mean, it's like super simple. You just take the fabric that you cut, fold the each side and together, then fold it again, stitch it, and then attach them. Again, you have to make sure you know where you're going to attach them. I'm not going to include them. So I'm going to go ahead to the next step, which is going to be the waistband. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the pieces of the waistband, which is this is the back of the waistband, and we're going to take the interface parts. Make sure all your pieces are already interfaced. So this is piece number 20, which is the back. And then you have piece number 18, which is the right.
Motion detected at front door.
And then piece number 19, which is the left. All right, go ahead, stitch, and then press the seam allowance open. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and attach the waistband. So you want to make sure the left is connected to the left and the right to the right. Where are we? Okay. And making sure matching the notches is going to be really important, as well as the side seams. Okay, then go ahead and stitch all the way around. Trim the seam allowance and then press in an upward motion. So again, stitch, trim the seam allowance, and then press up. Okay, so we have the waistband attached and we have it pressed. Now what we want to do is take the other part of the waistband, the uninterfaced part, and this is the left. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to stitch it and then press the seams open. Okay, go ahead and stitch and then press the seam allowance open. Okay, so we have the waistband stitched together. Now what you want to do is press under 1/2 inch on the notched side. All right, so you want to fold this under all the way around 1/2 inch and then press it really well. Okay, so we have this folded under and pressed. Now we're going to go ahead and attach it here. All right. So you're going to line this up and then just attach it and pin it all the way around. Lining up the side seams. Okay, so now you want to go ahead and you want to stitch all the way around and then trim your seam. Okay, so everything is trimmed. Now what you want to do is understitch, and you want to go in and go up as far as you can and then understitch all the way around. And once you do that, after you understitch, just go ahead and turn the facing to the inside and then press it really well. Okay, so we have this understitched and folded over and pressed. Now what you want to do is kind of like stitch in a ditch all the way around. So you have to make sure that this side here is going to catch as you stitch. So just do it really slowly and stitch all the way around. Okay, so we have the button and the buttonhole finished. Now what you want to do is hem the leg. So you can hem it however you'd like. I typically just fold it under 1 inch and do a blind stitch all the way around. So I'm going to do that and then give it one last press.
Motion detected at front door.
So if you don't have a serger or a way to clean the end here, I would just fold this under about 1/4 inch and then fold it under again. That way it's like this. just because you don't want the raw edge just kind of like hanging out, because these are looser fitting pants and they tend to, sometimes as you walk, it may kind of flip up and you don't want it to look unfinished.
Motion detected at front door.
Okay, then go ahead, line, hem, stitch, and then press. You want to do that on both legs.
Motion detected at front door.
Okay, then we're going to go press this. And that is it. Again, I left off the belt loops and I made them a little less loose fitting. But other than that, I pretty much stayed true to the pattern instructions. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. Happy sewing.